This video was created by VinylicPuma of VinylicPumaGaming.
Welcome back to another episode on cut content in Fallout 4. Today we will be talking about a weapon that did make it into the vanilla final product. However, there are versions of that weapon that were cut from the final release. Of course, I'm talking about the Broadsider heavy weapon. There's nothing more fun than walking around with a portable 17 to 1800s naval cannon and firing it into the faces of humans, Mirelurks, and Deathclaws alike. The Broadsider is also part of one of the more interesting side quest missions available to the player in the vanilla version of Fallout 4. And while the Broadsider is not as good as the missile launcher in the version of Fallout 4 that we ultimately got, the Broadsider does deal enough damage to make it a viable alternative in case you run out of either missiles or mini-nukes. What you may be interested to know is that at some point during development, there was going to be an explosive, high explosive, and nuclear version of the Broadsider, all of which were significant improvements over the standard version that we ultimately got. And we'll go over these in more detail now. First off, we have the Explosive Broadsider, which has a base damage of 168, making it better than the stock missile launcher, and when cannonballs hit, you get a significantly larger blast radius than the standard Broadsider. Of course, after that, we have the High Explosive Broadsider, which has a high base damage of 208, making it an even better version of the Explosive Broadsider, and also has an even bigger blast radius than that same Explosive Broadsider to boot. And then finally, as the title of this video implies, there was going to be a nuclear Broadsider with 1/4 the fire rate and a base damage of 233, just under half of the Fat Man's 468 base damage. Also, like the Fat Man, when cannonballs hit the intended target, it causes a nuclear explosion. So now for the big question. Why were the explosive, high explosive, and nuclear Broadsiders cut from Fallout 4? And obviously, all of this will be speculation, but let's go ahead and we'll get into it. So I think the first reason is that the Broadsider is kind of overpowered in VATS. When you use the standard Broadsider and lock onto a target, you'll notice that when the Broadsider finally fires and hits, it seems to deal more damage than listed. Of course, the same goes for each of the cut versions of the Broadsider. It's also really easy to hit enemies that are very far away in VATS, thanks to the big explosive radius of all three cut versions. I've managed to hit enemies even though the percent chance to hit in VATS is less than 25%. Now, I wouldn't say that it is good for like super long-range combat at all, but it does seem to be pretty good in the medium to long range category in terms of distancing. I think the final reason is because cannonballs are significantly cheaper than both missiles and mini nukes. The in-game value of a cannonball is about 8 bottle caps, while the in-game values of a missile and a mini nuke are like 25 and 100 respectively. The mini nuke is really dealing only twice as much damage at nearly 12.5 times the cost of the nuclear Broadsider. Plus, the nuclear Broadsider can fire 3 shots in relatively quick succession thanks to the multi-shot canister weapon customization that is exclusive to the Broadsider. The missile, on the other hand, deals 150 damage compared to an explosive Broadsider's 168 damage. Not only are missiles more than twice as expensive as a cannonball, but the lowest upgrade of the Broadsider is dealing more damage. It's definitely a shame that the explosive, high explosive, and nuclear versions of the Broadsider were cut from the game because they're not only amusing and quirky and just kind of fun to play with, but they also are highly effective weapons for the player to use. As I've mentioned previously, the 3 cut versions of the Broadsider are superior to some of the weapons that we eventually received. My hope is that the explosive, high explosive, and nuclear versions of the Broadsider will officially return through either a weapon DLC of some sort or will become finally available to everyone when Fallout 4 mods finally hit the console versions of Fallout 4. Anyway guys, that's going to pretty much wrap up this particular video. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like. As always, this week I am kind of promoting my Twitter. It's going to be in the description if you want to check it out. Follow it if you want, or don't. As always, take care, and I'll see you all next time.